Oh, hey there. I didn't realise you were there. I was just working on the script on my MacBook Air. Fucking cringy as fuck, aren't I? Hey guys, serial killer. Nope, wrong one. Sando here. With another amazing video, as always. All my content is quality. And I'm obviously supporting the best content possible on YouTube and fuck off phone. So, let's get into this without a shitty intro like I always do. I'm a big Windows fan. I've always been using Windows 7 and then now Windows 10 since it's been released, and I upgraded my computer as soon as I could to Windows 10 because it's beautiful and I really like it compared to Windows 7. Like, Windows 7 was brilliant, Windows 8 was terrible, Windows 10 brought brilliant to beautiful. That's my personal opinion. It does have some bugs and everything, like everything has. And while I was growing up, I've always used a Windows laptop, and my first personal laptop, Windows, and some of my other laptops, Windows. So why the hell then do I use a MacBook 2015 MacBook Air as my daily driver? I've had 3 previous laptops. I just quickly showed you 2, and this Mac Air is by far the oldest. It's 1 year older than this one and da-da-da-da-da. It's by far the oldest, but it is still better than the other 3. And so, why is that? Before I get into all of this, I better talk about a bit of back history about my previous laptops. They're all 3 of them Windows machines, just to clarify that. All of them Windows 10. And I've had experience with Windows 7 laptops back in the day, and Windows Vista as well. That was our first laptop, and Windows XP 2000 or Vista, I can't remember. They were, to clarify, these first 3, we've had 3 laptops before I had my own. These are not family laptops, these are my own personal laptops for me and me only. The first 2 of them that I had, I've done YouTube videos on, and they are one of my some of my most popular videos. The Acer one especially, 11,000 views. Brilliant, absolutely love it. And so let's quickly go through them. Just to quickly go through. The first one was the Acer Inspire ES11. This one here. I'm trying to turn it into a TeamSpeak server. Not going to work. Oh, what was I? Where am I? It's Acer ES11 notebook. It is a little laptop with an 11-inch screen and a Celeron paired with 2 gigs of RAM and a 32 gigs of flash storage. Pretty poor specifications, but alright for £100. Only alright. The moment I installed Chrome and Office 365, I had no more space for anything. Couldn't store any more videos, any photos, any documents. I could have 4 photos max. I would be running out of stuff every day. I'd have to be clearing the temp every single day to have a meg of space. Not good, not good at all. I can even look at photos from my camera, and even if I took them in like the lowest quality possible, because that's how slow and poor it was. Even after upgrading from 2 gigs to 4 gig with a spare stick of RAM that I had lying around, it still wouldn't even load YouTube videos on Chrome, and Chrome would just lag and stutter and take forever to work, and at the moment it doesn't even work. I can't even play YouTube videos through Chrome. I have to play YouTube videos through fucking Edge. Edge! The worst. And I just gave up on it at some point, because when I had it, it was at the point in school when I didn't really need it in school. I was still in year 11. I wasn't really having to do so much. I had my computer, and that was really it. That's all I needed. I didn't need to take a laptop with me to school. The YouTube video I did on it, like I said, 11,000 views. Bloody brilliant. Bloody thank you. Pretty good. So the next one I'll go is was like 2 years old after the Acer Inspire. Like a year ago I had it, I think. Odd. Yeah, a year ago, because I got it for my 17th birthday. I bought it. I bought it for my 17th birthday. My parents paid a little bit, but I paid the rest. The most of it. it was a beast of a machine. It was almost on par with my big monster computer, which is just there. It was the Dell 7000 laptop. I loved it. Beast of a machine, blah blah blah. It was sporting i5 7300Q, I think, with 8 gigs of RAM and a brilliant 1080p display, powered by none other than a full-size GTX 1050 with 4 gigs of VRAM. Fucking brilliant. My 980 Ti only has 6 gigs of VRAM. The 1050 had 4, 2 off my 980 Ti. Nothing like it. Just saying, nothing like it. Not trying to compare them two. But it was an absolute god of a laptop. Through everything, I smashed at it. Editing and gaming alike, I'd be smashing FPS and PUBG, Battlefield, CSGO, Fortnite, and then editing Prem Pro and what's the other one I use? Vegas Pro? Breeze. A breeze. The high-powered CPU and lots of RAM and the graphics card helped admirably with consumer grade sort of stuff like that. Though the problem is, one sec, I need to scroll down. So the problem is because I was using it as a daily driver at school. So that meant lugging around the big, thick, heavy laptop, and on top of that I'd have to lug around its big, heavy power brick, which is horrendous. And it wasn't good for my focus either, because I would just sit on it and play video games, and that really affected my education very badly. But luckily for my education, but unluckily for my wallet, it broke. It got damaged a bit from shoving it into a backpack every single day, taking it to school, and then eventually stopped working after a bit of cosmetic damage. Went internal, became internal damage, not really good for me. It was kind of sad for me because it was a very precious laptop and I loved it. And again, like the Acer one, I did a YouTube video on which got 1.7k views to this day, which is bloody brilliant again. And then the last laptop, no one really knows about this one, was another Dell laptop, the Dell Inspiron 5000, this one here, this silver ugly machine. Sporting an i3 with 4 gigs of RAM and a 1TB hard drive. I had high expectancies for this thing. I expected it to be brilliant. i3, pretty good. 4 gigs of RAM, that's enough. 1TB, brilliant. Dell. Dell make brilliant machines. But they severely let me down. Like, for 400 quid, the hard drive was stupidly slow. And I would have expected more than 4 gigs of RAM, but that's what I got. It took forever to boot, with blue screen all the time whenever I tried opening Word or bloody Premiere Pro. And it also crashed on Chrome just as much. Crashed on Chrome just as many times as people watch my YouTube channel. Like, once. Oh, the only upside was it was the amazing battery. It had a bloody brilliant battery life, would last me all day, but I would never see it because the laptop would constantly be dying, and that's just inconvenient. I didn't even bother making a video on it. I was going to, but it was hideous. The only good thing about it is the keyboard. I really like the keyboard. It was a full-size keyboard, and I love a full-size keyboard. I love the numpad. It was nicely spaced, lots of armrest, but trash laptop. I'm trying to get it fixed because maybe I'd use it as the TeamSpeak server instead of the Asus one, but I can't even get the darn thing to work, even though I have 3 hard drives spare. There's one in there at the moment. This is the original 1TB one, this one here. And then this is another 500 gig one I have spare, doesn't work. I put in a bloody 120 gig one that I had with Windows Vista, doesn't even work. Doesn't matter, I fucking hate the thing. So, that's me done. Talking about my previous laptops. I decided on a Mac, because one of the reasons I decided on the Mac was because my brother, who is a major idiot and clumsy as fuck, forgets everything, has somehow managed to maintain his Mac throughout the years without breaking it. He's an idiot. Let me just explain to you. He's an idiot. Broken every single phone he's touched. And that's what I noticed. Old Macs retain their value because they still retain their quality, unlike Apple phones. The Macs seem to do well. And also for my budget, which was about that time around £400–500, all the Windows laptops were just ugly. Look at this, for example. It's nice, but that's it. It's nice. It's not beautiful. It's not elegant. It's not nice. And while I could get a £400 Windows laptop, I could get a beautiful £400 Apple MacBook Air or MacBook Pro if I was really desperate for a Pro. And Apple just makes stuff look beautiful. The one reason I chose it, like I just said, beautiful. The Dell Inspiron 7000 looked elegant, clean and lush. I like the look. And comparing most Windows laptops around my budget, the Mac Air is far the nicest looking of it all. They all look hideous. Keyboard, important factor. I spend a lot more time typing on a laptop at school because the school computers just irritate me and not very good. And I prefer to have all my stuff in one space so I can take it home and work on it on my computer. And the advantage of that was it was really nice because I was using it as my daily driver. I needed a good keyboard. Like I just said, Dell Inspiron 5000. Keyboard was nice, but laptop was shit. Mac Air 2015. Keyboard is nice, laptop is good. Win-win situation right there. Because I have to admit, I was losing the numpad, which is quite sad because I do like the numpad. I like using the numpad. I use it quite a lot. If I could use it more, I'd use it more, but I have no reason to use it more. And there weren't any prolonged wrist pains after prolonged typing. Even after spending an hour typing up this script, I didn't get horrid wrist pains and digging into my wrist that I would get on especially on that Dell Inspiron 7000 with a really thick bezel. I wouldn't get any wrist pain. I haven't got much from my computer because I don't type much on it. I type on my laptop because it's nicer to type on. Where am I? The keys are nicely spread out. There is nice travel time on the keys, and they're backlit as well, so you can see the keys no matter what in the dark, and they vary with the brightness of the light. So if I like really bright room, the backlit keys wouldn't be on, but if I wasn't, they would be on. It's pretty cool and like very user friendly, isn't it, really? Now to the part that I love the most of them all. All the fancy pantsy specky stuff. That's my thing. It's not the most powerful of all laptops, but it is the most versatile. It's got a Core i5 with 8 gigs of RAM and a 250 gig SSD to boot. Not too shabby at all. Can't play games, apart from Unturned. He plays that now. I tried Fortnite, unplayable, but pfft, who cares? Hearthstone plays though on it. Minor indie games probably will, but that's not what it is for. It is for work. I can edit on it, though the simple cuts at the moment I start to add effects like speeding up, slowing down, reversing clips and stuff. It does a little stutter a bit and come into a point when sometimes I do have to pre-render the timeline, which is irritating because it takes a few minutes, but I can edit on it. I've made some nice edits on it, though my previous video, one of my previous videos about the camera showcase was edited on Final Cut Pro on School Max. But not about that. It does its job. No hassle needed. Doesn't crash. Does its job. I can work on it all day, and the battery would be fine. And that's for me because good for me that it's good at its job. Is because it allows me to be as the most possible productive that I can be ever. But that's it really. The screen is only 1440p by 900. Not the best of screens. This is 1080p. That one there is even nicer. Not than that, but nicer than the Mac. But for a 13-inch screen, but Apple makes everything look bloody brilliant. The colours are brilliant. I changed it to the Adobe RGB because that's better for me as a content creator. But they do it well. And I guess they do they have the lower resolution to maintain their predicted 12-hour battery life, which isn't too far off true. I can have it fully charged in the morning at 9 o'clock, and by the time I finish school around 4 o'clock, I have about 30 to 10% of battery left. But that is also depending on what I do, because sometimes when I'm editing at school, or Word or stuff, battery lasts not as long, but YouTube and just general Google makes it last a bit longer, but it's brilliant. One most important thing, because it's a daily driver at school, not a daily driver putting it in a car and just taking it out the car, putting it on a desk, but lugging it around in a school bag at school, the weight and size was important. 13-inch means it's great. All the other ones, well, big. This one I had to ram into my bag. DELL inspiron at one point didn't even fit into my school bag. Just bad choice. And the 13-inch screen means it is far smaller than this one, isn't it? So it fits nicely and snugly into my bag, which is really good for me. I'm really happy with that. Only weighs 1.35 kilos. Absolutely nothing. I don't even feel it. I don't even bother bringing the battery in, because the charger in, because the battery life is so good, which is making it perfect as a daily driver at school, as a versatile laptop that I can lug around with me everywhere that I go. But there is two sides of a coin here. There are pros, there are always cons. It may have SSD storage, which means fast boot times, fast load times, blah 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 blah, fast everything, yeah. But there's only 250 gigs of it. That isn't a lot of room if you think about it. Once you've installed Word, Adobe, Vegas, uTorrent and several other apps that you need, you don't have much space left. I have about 60 gig of space left. The moment I've got about, and the moment I start editing on it, that's loading pre-rendered files, and at some points I have like 20 gigs of space on it, and that's not very good for someone. So I can't have loads of photos on there, loads of music on there, and loads of other stuff that you would normally have on your laptop. And another thing about Windows laptops, all three of them I could upgrade. Mac, you can't, because they like to solder their RAM, don't they? And they prevent people from upgrading the Mac, and the only way you can do it is by buying a new one, but they last forever, so there is no problem in having just that one. But apart from that, it has brought me so much more ease into my daily life and as a daily driver for school that I'm very glad I bought it, and very glad I'm becoming an Apple fan from Mac guys. I'm never switching from Android. Android is too good. I'm currently on an S8 right now. Ha! Apple have managed to crash. Oh, that was Bixby I was trying to open, that's why. Yeah. But, yeah, that's why I use a Mac as my daily driver at school and out of school, because I prefer it over a Windows laptop. It's been a lot better for me. Though I would get a DELL XPS, because they look... I want those MSI Delphs, but they're loads of money. I'll probably just buy the new MacBook Pro. It's only £2,500. Very cheap. Give me 2 weeks. 3 weeks. I'll earn it. Anyways guys, thanks for watching. Leave a like down below if you enjoyed this video. It's a bit long, it's a bit tedious. I'm going to have to cut this down a lot. Thank you very much. Enjoy your evening.